Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristen. Welcome if this is your first time stopping by. Today I have a massive new and used book haul. This probably isn't even all of them, but these are the ones that I've kind of set aside separately from my shelves, and I think this is probably my biggest book haul yet. I have an issue with buying used books. I love giving, like going to used bookstores and like just giving them all my money because I want to be broke apparently. But yeah, so some of these are from like the Books A Million used book area, some thrift stores, and also I made a trip to Half Price Books, which I don't have in my state, so I actually had to do like a road trip outside of my state to check out a Half Price book. So yeah, without talking too much, this is going to be probably a long video, so grab a drink, some snacks, and let's get into this. I don't know where to start. I'm going to start with this pile that's directly in front of me. And the first book on here is Kingdom Keepers, Disney After Dark. Now this is a new book. This is a middle grade book, which I had to pick up because it is a series and I am obsessed with Disney. If you are new here, I am a huge Disney nerd, and I thought that these would be really cute to read because they're kind of about these teenagers who go into the theme park and defeat different Disney villains. So this one takes place at Magic Kingdom. There's one that takes place at Epcot, one at Animal Kingdom. So I knew that I was gonna have to pick these up. They look like relatively quick reads. They're about a little over 300 pages, and they're like, you know, middle grade style, so there's more border. But I'm really excited about this. These used to have older covers apparently, so this is a newer cover of it, but I like these covers better than the older covers that I've seen, and I'm super excited. So this is the first one, and this one was published in 2005, so it's old. So there's probably gonna be some older Disney references in here, but you know what, I don't care because like look at this, it's just beautiful and I'm super excited. This is by Ridley Pearson. I'll let you guys know if this is something you should pick up, but once I'm done reading this, I think that this would be a really cute book for my older niece to read because she is way ahead of her age in reading and she would probably love this. I really loved Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I just realized I don't think I ever did a February reading wrap up, but that was a 5-star read for me. It's actually, I bought it after I read it on my Kindle. So I want to read more of V.E. Schwab's books, and I saw this one used at Books A Million, and this is the darker shade of Magic. I believe it's a trilogy, but this is the first book. Now I know these are also available on Kindle Unlimited, but there's just something about holding the books in my hand, and there's also some images in here which are pretty cool, like different sections. So this has to be good. I honestly don't even know what it's about. I just know that I love her writing and I want to support her. So I'm going to read more of her books, and I'm hoping that this does not disappoint. Okay, so the next couple of used books actually have the whole set. I believe this is like a trilogy, but let me find the other two. So I have heard so much about Abby Jimenez as a writer. I also have a book by her that I really want to read, Part of Your World. I want to read that next month, but you will see that in my April TBR. But I found these at a, whoa, this is really beat up, or has like marks all over it, which is kind of weird. But I bought a lot of these at used bookstores. So the first one is The Friend Zone. I believe that this is like the Friend Zone trilogy, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure they're all like, you can read them all as standalones. But yeah, so I got this at Half Price of Books, and I've been really wanting to read this trilogy. And then they also have the Happily Ever After playlist at Half Price Books, and this is another one that is on my TBR that I have been looking forward to. And then I found this one brand new, bargain priced, in the Books A Million section, and it's the Life's Too Short, but this is the hardcover, which you guys know, like, it doesn't match, but The bargain price was even cheaper than a used book, so I was like, okay, if I really love it and I don't want the hardcover, I can always sell or donate the hardcover and get the paperback. But yeah, so I picked up these 3 books. Okay, the next ones are ones that like I bought used that looked interesting to me, but I didn't necessarily know much about going into them. And this one is the Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams, and this is a Reese's book club pick. I always trust Reese Witherspoon with her book club. And this is pretty much about a girl who kind of figures out that there's words and like meanings that are related to like women that are not in the dictionary, so they're going unrecorded, and she kind of digs into that and trying to figure out why, like, it's like a women's rights sort of novel, so women's fiction, I guess. But this one looks really good, so I am excited about that one. I don't know when I'll get to that one, but excited. And then this one is called Back in the Burbs by Tracy Wolff and Avery Flynn. So it's a duo. And this I also bought used. And this is about a woman who lost her job, like apartment, whatever. And then she's like a family member just recently died. So she's trying to kind of get back her life, try to figure out who she is. And of course there's some love, yeah. So, you know, gotta love it. And I loved the cover. It just looked really interesting to me. And I've never read anything by either of these authors, so I thought I would give it a go. Okay, the next I got at a bargain price. This is one that I've been staring at for a while, full price, and then I just like have been putting it off, and then I found it in the bargain price section, and it is The Ravens. I think this might be a series. I don't know if this is a standalone. This is by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page, and this is about these sisters of a sorority that are called the Ravens, who find out that they're witches and that they use some of their witchy powers, which I love witch, so I think I'm probably going to read this in like October with a lot of my other like spooky reads that I like to read, like more like themed, but we'll see if I get to it sooner. But this is definitely probably more like a September, October, November kind of like fall read for me. So the next book I got, another bargain price from Books A Million, is Saint X. And this is a thriller about a girl who her college-age sister disappears on a family vacation, and they like arrest 2 men and then let them go free, and she's trying to kind of piece it together and figure out who actually was, you know, the murderer of her sister. And I think there's also like a love element where she may fall in love with the like one of the people who were charged for murdering her sister or something like that. I can't exactly remember, but this looks really good, and the writing is kind of tiny, which is a little bit intimidating, but I think this will be a good one. I always love a good twisted thriller. So the next 4 books I bought at Barnes & Noble full price, or like brand new, so these are not used books, and these were part of the buy one get one half off, which I always take advantage of. And this is Take the Lead by Alexis Daria. This is about a girl who is kind of on a dance show for, I think it's more like Dancing with the Stars kind of dancing, so more ballroom, and she falls in love with her partner. I think it's like an enemies to lovers sort of situation, but very excited. I believe it's pretty spicy based off of some things that I've read, but very excited about this one. And then another romance I picked up because I know that like The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams was kind of hit or miss for some people, but I really loved her writing, and I kind of liked her closed door writing, so I picked up When in Rome because this is one I've kept my eye on, and I think this is like a celebrity in a small town like falling in love with a baker or something like that, which I'm super excited to read. And this doesn't look like a super long book or anything, so I am excited to read another book by her. I also picked up one of her older books from Amazon that is not traditionally published. I believe this was like a indie published book called The Off Limits Rule by her. Another one that I've really wanted to read. And says, I found rock bottom. It's here, moving in with my older brother because I'm too broke to afford living on my own. It's okay though because we've always been close and I think I'm going to like living with him. That is until I meet Cooper. Turns out my brother has very strong opinions on the idea of me dating his best friend. According to him, Cooper is everything I should stay away from. Flirtatious, adventurous, non-committal, and freaking hot. I added the last part because I feel like you need the whole picture. My brother is right. I should stay far away from Cooper James and his pretty blue eyes. He's opposite of what I need right now. It just sounds so good. I think this will be really, really good. And I loved the cover art, so had to get that one. Another thriller is The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. I know that Lucy Foley is a loved thriller mystery writer, and this is like another one of those kind of like whodunit sort of Clue style. It says a New Year's reunion in the remote Scottish wilderness, the beautiful one, the golden couple, the volatile one, the new parents, the quiet one, the city boy, the outsider. One of the friends is a murderer and won't make it out alive, and one won't make it out alive. Like, that's all you need to know. And then this was I think a fantasy pick, but the Barnes & Noble fantasy pick for March for part of the buy one get one half off. And this is about a young woman who's caught between two worlds and wants to kind of find her way. I believe it's like so it says, off the coast of Ireland sits a legendary an island hidden by magic. A place of ruins and ancient trees, sea salt air, and fairy lore. High Brazel is the only home Biddy has ever known. Washed up on its shore as a baby, Biddy lives a quiet life with her guardian, the mercurial magician Rowan, a life she finds increasingly stifling. One night, Rowan fails to return from his mysterious travels. To find him, Biddy must venture into the outside world for the first time, but Rowan has powerful enemies, forces who have hoarded the world's magic and have set their sights on the magician's many secrets. Biddy may be the key to stopping them, yet the closer she gets to the answers, the more she questions everything she's ever believed about Rowan, her past, and the nature of magic herself. I think it sounds really good. As you guys know, I'm not a huge fantasy reader, but when one of them catches my eye, I gotta try it, and this was definitely eye-catching for me. Moving on to some more used books. So I finally read Daisy Jones and the Six, which I will do in my March wrap-up. I'll talk about that, but I thought I should try another book by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I'm sure a lot of you guys know what this is about, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I've heard that this is like one of her prime, like, best books ever, so very excited about this one. And then an author that I have a couple books by that I enjoy her writing is Helena Hunting, and I found this one at Half Price Books called The Good Luck Charm. I honestly don't know what it's about, but I love this author, so I thought, why not pick it up? I already have the other books in this set, or this trilogy that I haven't read yet, but I wanted to get the one because this is in the middle, and this is The Vanishing Stair from the Truly Devious series. So I'm not going to get into this because it's not even the first one, but I had to pick this one up because I was missing it in the trilogy. Then I got The School for Good Mothers, which I have heard a lot about recently for some reason. And it's about a mother who, I believe she's a Chinese immigrant, or her parents were immigrants, and she just like doesn't feel like she's a good mother, and then one day she has a really bad day with her child, and then this School for Good Mothers comes in, takes her to the school, and it's kind of supposed to be like haunting and like psychological sort of, but I think it's more like women's fiction. I don't know, it's kind of like a weird one to kind of place, but I'm very excited about this one. And then this is another one that I've really been wanting to read, and I saw it at Half Price Books, and it's Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Raybourn, which I've heard amazing things about this author. And this is about these assassins who have retired, I believe, and now they live in like a retirement home or something, and they kind of go back out into the force of being assassins at their elderly age. The next one is actually one that was sent to me by the author that I'm going to read. I think it doesn't come out until August, but it's by Bernadette Marie, and this is Liz's Road Trip. So I think this is an author who has a lot of books on Kindle Unlimited, but she sent me the published ARC, or the ARC, I guess it's not published yet, the ARC, or a copy to read and review. So I am going to read this. This looks really, really cute. It says, Liz Evans is setting out on a cross-country road trip with her grandmother's cat to carry out her grandmother's final wishes. However, she's about to learn that the coupon clipping woman who raised her was actually a wealthy Hollywood icon who had her share of international lovers. Mark Watts is only one of the secrets Liz's grandmother kept from her. A biographer, he resides in Liz's grandmother's Palm Beach home, which Liz knew nothing about. As her guide into her grandmother's past, Mark becomes a confidant, a friend, and more. Though Liz's journey is to learn about her grandmother, she finds these lessons turn inward. Content with her life of solitude, Liz is challenged to live a big fat life with no regrets, which just might include a crazy cat, a house in Palm Beach, and a man. I think it sounds really, really cute, and I'm very excited to read this. I also, 3 books by Lucy Score that I've picked up over the past few months because her books are blowing up. By a Thread, Things We Never Got Over, and Things We Hide from the Light. I did just read Things We Never Got Over. Again, it'll be my wrap up, but my heart. And this is the follow-up to that one. So I have not read By a Thread yet, or Things We Hide from the Light, but I love how all of her books just like go so beautifully together, the way that they're published. Very excited about those. And then another set of books that I have gotten. So one has been used, and then one was new but was like all bent when I got it from, I also buy books from Book Outlet, and some of the stuff they sent me recently is just a little bit rough, but the Love and Other Detours trilogy, I think that's what the trilogy is called. So Love and Gelato, Love and Luck, and Love and Olives. These two I found this one used, and then this one used at a thrift store, and then this one I bought at Book Outlet to finish the trilogy. I haven't read this yet. I do know that it's like a young adult romance, but I thought that this would be really cute to read, and I got excited when I saw them used, so I picked up those. I know this one is available on Kindle Unlimited, but I found it at Books A Million for $3.50 used, and it looks like it's brand new. And it is The Housemaid, which everybody says is an amazing thriller by Frida McFadden. And I know that the follow-up, or like I don't know if it's gonna be like a series or if it's just a duology, but the follow-up book was just recently released, like this month sometime, so I really am excited to read this. I've heard amazing things about it. I also am super excited about this one. I think I bought this, yeah, I finally found this one used, which was so exciting for me. So the Thursday Murder Club, love, and the other one that was the follow-up to that one, which is The Man Who Died Twice. Very excited. And then I actually recently was able to find a good deal on the Bullet That Missed for Kindle, so I technically have access to all 3, and I've heard that the Thursday Murder Club series is so good. It's about these four men who've been retired who like to meet and solve like unsolved cold cases, and one day a body or someone dies in their retirement village, I believe, and then they are trying to solve the case. I've heard that has a lot of heart to it as well. I love Matt Haig. I loved The Midnight Library, so I've been trying to collect some of his other books. I have one more that I have not read somewhere, How to Stop Time, which you can't see, but I found this one used, and this is the Dead Fathers Club, which I think this sounds so good. So it's about his dad who was killed in a car accident, and some ghost comes in or something. His dad comes in as a ghost, and he introduces his son to the Dead Fathers Club, and they tell him that the murderer was his own brother and he's trying to solve the murderer. But I think it's kind of a lot about grief being, you know, at the forefront, obviously. But very excited about this. I think that it sounds like a very interesting premise, so we'll see how that one pans out. So I have Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. This is by the author who wrote Dial A for Aunties and The Four Aunties and a Wedding, I believe. And it's about this like Asian woman who owns a shop, I believe, or like a bistro or something like that, a tea shop. And somebody dies and she wants to investigate it and solve it herself. And she's like a 60-year-old woman, love it. I also finally got It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I've heard a lot of like not so great things about Tessa Bailey's writing, but that this one is like top tier, like some of people's like absolute favorite reads. So I figured I should probably pick up the one that everyone talks about and see how I like it, because I have one other book by her that I haven't read yet, The Secretly Yours, that has like some mixed opinions on. So I kind of want to get like a general idea of what her good writing is, and everyone raves about this one. I also picked up Ellie is Cool Now, which is apparently from a Wattpad novel. And it's about a woman who like had a horrible high school experience, but now she is a, I don't know if she's a like a filmmaker or if she, I can't remember if she like created it or something, but she is working on this set about like an amazing like high school, popular high school kid story. And she goes back to her high school reunion, and yeah, it's just somewhat of a love story, somewhat of a, you know, growing up and changing your life story, similar to all other romance books that we love. I finally picked up Fallon Ballard's Just My Type. This is another one that I've been waiting and looking at non-stop. I believe this might be like more of a enemies to lovers, but I am not 100% sure. Yeah, so this is a high school second chance enemies to lovers sort of trope, where the girl has an opportunity to go and work with her ex, and they have like some combative like chances, like trying to beat each other out to get some kind of job promotion, and then she, you can kind of assume, falls in love with him, I'm assuming. I also picked up And Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I've heard amazing things about this thriller. It is about a mother who loses her daughter, and then several years later she's falling in love with a man, and she sees that this man has a daughter that looks exactly like her daughter who disappeared. I don't know if she died or I think she just disappeared, and then she's like trying to figure out if this girl, like there's something eerie about this situation and she's trying to figure it out. I've heard that this is a really, really good thriller, so I finally was able to pick that one up. I also have been eyeing this one for a while, and I finally just decided to take the plunge, and it is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I believe this is about a curmudgeon-y, like grumpy professor who is really into studying fairy and like folklore and magic, and so she has this opportunity to write this first encyclopedia of fairy lore, and then she arrives and there's another guy who is trying to kind of get into this research as well, and there's like some kind of like, you know, enemies sort of situation. But I'm excited because, again, I'm not super into like fantasy, but I think this is kind of more like magical realism, and who doesn't love reading about fairies? And this book is probably one of the most beautiful books I've ever seen, so I had to get it. Okay, I've been staring at this book for a while on the shelves. This is the Authenticity Project. I got this at Half Price Books. So it says it's about an eccentric, lonely artist who believes that there's a lack of honesty in the world, and he writes in a journal about like the truth about his own life, and then he leaves it in this cafe, and then other people fill in their truths, and their honesty kind of just seeps into this journal. And it's supposed to be a turn, it says, quick by turns, quirky and funny, heartbreaking and true to life. The Authenticity Project is a story about being brave and putting your real self forward and finding out that it is not as scary as it seems. In fact, it looks a lot like Happy. Also, this is another one I found at Half Price Books that everybody has talked about, and I believe this author just wrote a new book called Hello Beautiful, and this is Dear Edward. It's supposed to be a tragic love story, I believe. It says, one summer morning, 12-year-old Edward, his beloved older brother, his parents, and 183 passengers on board a flight in Newark, headed for Los Angeles. Halfway across the country, the plane crashes. Edward is the only survivor. His story captures the attention of the nation, but he struggles to find a place in a world without his family. He continues to feel that a part of himself has been left in the sky, forever tied to a plane and all of his fellow passengers. After he makes an unexpected discovery, he begins to understand all the ways his aunt and uncle, teachers, neighbors, and one very special friend have stepped in to care for him. Edward comes to see the transformative power of kindness and realizes that even a broken heart is capable of great love. Okay, I also picked up this one, which seems really, really cute, and I also have been keeping an eye on it, and then I saw it used, and it's called The Breakup Book Club. It says, former tennis star Jasmine as a top sports agent balancing a career and single motherhood. Judith is an empty nester questioning her marriage and the supporting role she chose. Aaron's high school sweetheart and fiance develops a bad case of cold feet, and Sarah's husband takes a job out of town, saddling Sarah with a difficult mother-in-law who believes her son could have done better. With the help of books, laughter, and the joy of ever-loving friendships, Jasmine, Judith, Aaron, and Sarah find the courage to navigate new and surprising chapters of their lives as they seek their own versions of a happily ever after. I just think that sounds so cute and kind of like cozy, so I wanted to get that one. Now this is our last few. So I bought a book by Mahiri McFarlane. I don't know if that's how you say it. I'm sorry if I just butchered the name, but I've heard amazing things about this author. She's also read Just Last Night and If I Never Met You, and this one I keep seeing everywhere. I don't know why. I don't know if this was like recently published or something, but I found this on Book Outlet. Yep, this is from last year. And this is just a love story about a wedding photographer who doesn't believe in romance, and then I believe she comes into an apartment where she like lives across the street from her ex, who's a hopeless romantic, and they don't get along at all. They're strangers, and then they become roommates to friends. Maybe it's not an ex. Oh yeah, living down the hall from her ex. Oh, she was living down the hall from her ex, and then she moves into a new apartment, who ends up, you know, meeting this Cal man who loves love and she hates love. It's a, you know, strangers, roommates, sort of kind of love story, and it seems really cute, and I've heard really great things about her writing as well, so I'm hoping to find another author that I love. I recently picked up Finley Donovan Knocks 'Em Dead after getting Finley Donovan Is Killing It, so I found this one at Book Outlet, and it's the paperback. I want all of these books because I am always into these kind of cozy murder mysteries and I can't get enough, so I picked this one up. Another Taylor Jenkins Reid novel because everyone and their mother is obsessed with her, so I thought I should try as well. And this one is Forever Interrupted, another one I found on Book Outlet. So this one says, Elsie Porter is an average 20-something, and yet what happens to her is anything but ordinary. On a rainy New Year's Day, she heads out to pick up pizza for one. She isn't expecting to see anyone else in the shop, much less the adorable and charming Ben Ross. Their chemistry is instant and electric. Ben cannot even wait 24 hours before asking to see her again. Within weeks, the two are head over heels in love. By May, they've eloped. Only 9 days later, Ben is out riding his bike when he's hit by a truck and killed on impact. Wow. Elsie hears the sirens outside her apartment. Out by the time she gets downstairs, he has already been whisked off to the hospital. There, she must face Susan, the mother-in-law she has never met and who doesn't even know Elsie exists. Sounds horrible and sad and depressing, but I'm gonna read it. Okay, this one is such a cute book that I've heard so much about and found on Book Outlet. And it is about a girl who goes to London, and she's on this, you know, one of those like touring buses, I believe. Or it says, maybe it's not a touring bus, but it's just like this bus that travels throughout London. And she meets this older gentleman who several years prior, 60 years in chat, it says 60 years prior, he met this amazing woman on the bus. And ever since then, he's been riding the same bus every day to meet or see this woman again. I just think that is so cute. Ooh, another one that is a fantasy book that sounds really interesting to me that apparently, I think this is pretty popular, and it is The Book Eaters by Sunny Dean. And this is about these people who eat books, and they retain all of the book's content after eating it. And it says, to them, spy novels are a peppery snack. Romance novels are sweet and delicious. Eating a map can help them remember destinations, and children, when they misbehave, are forced to eat dry, musty pages from dictionaries. Devon is part of the family, an old and reclusive clan of book eaters. Her brothers grew up feasting on stories of valor and adventure, and Devon, like all other book eater women, was raised on a carefully curated diet of fairy tales and cautionary stories. But real life doesn't always come with happy endings, as Devon learns when her son is born with a rare and darker kind of hunger, not for books, but for human minds. It sounds so good. The last couple books are kind of depressing, but I got Severance by Ling Ma because I've heard some really amazing things about this, and this doesn't even have like a description on the back here. So that's cool. I can't really tell you what it's about, but I just know that I've heard amazing things about it, so I got that one. And then this book is super dirty. It came to me dirty, but that's okay because I got it for a good price on a book outlet. It's a little bit of a bummer, but it's an older book called The Virgin Suicides, and by Jeffrey Eugenides. Oh my god, that's horrible. I don't know how to say it. But this is about in a suburb of Detroit, these sisters each commit suicide one by one over a year, and these boys that are transfixed by them try to piece together the mystery of the family's fatal melancholy and try to figure out why they committed suicide. And the last book, we made it to the end. If you guys made it, I love you all. But it is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, because everybody has said that this is an amazing memoir and it's pretty depressing, but I grew up reading. I grew up watching iCarly and Sam and Cat and all of Jeanette McCurdy's stuff, so I thought that I should support her for one, and two, I've heard amazing things about her writing and how this is very, very heartbreaking and very real and very raw, and I'm really excited. And that's saying a lot because I don't like memoirs. Like, I like nonfiction books, but memoirs are never something that I've really wanted to go for. Okay, that is my entire book haul. Thank you for sticking with me on this if you were able to. This is an incredible amount of books, and I'm so blessed to have been able to purchase them and get some of these newer ones. I'm just very excited to read everything. I have so many books that I need to read, so stay tuned for my April TBR. That is coming up. I will also be doing a March wrap-up, and I think I'm going to be doing some reading vlogs. So let me know if any of these books excite you as much as they excite me. Also, let me know if you've read any of these books. I would love to hear what you guys think, but don't give me any spoilers. I just want to know like general, maybe like one-liners, so it can convince me to read that book like right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will talk to you all very soon, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!